Oh, I hear sounds.
Instaface.
Okay.
Get on Facebook?
Just a sec, guys. Hey, that's working. Oh my god. Okay.
And YouTube views?
Facebook, YouTube. I have no idea if this is actually around 73 or not. I couldn't remember what I.
It's 72.
It's 72.
We're,
Yeah, everything's 73. We're just skipping. We're
No,
going
we
too
skipped
high.
one. We're on 73 now.
Yeah, we're just gonna call it 73.
All right, welcome to
We're on something.
round 73 of the live Q&A here at 034 Motorsport. Started doing these last year, about 73 weeks ago,
Some weeks ago. Yep.
give or take. So a Q&A session, ask us anything. 034 Motorsport products and services. I'm Javad Shadzi, the CEO of 034 Motorsport, and this is Nate Stewart, the director of engineering. Forgot to introduce us last week. Last week we had some technical issues.
This week we did too, but we're soldiering through them, so we'll see.
Yeah.
Hopefully everything stays together.
We had tech issues in more ways than one. I'll just preface. If you've had any issues placing orders on our website, we apologize. And I think I finally know why EPL never made a website, because
It's hard.
they are really difficult. And so we switched to a new version of it, and it lasted for a couple days, but it was all fucked up. So
Yeah, and it was like a pile of unrelated issues we were having, and so we just pulled the plug for now.
yeah, and the team here has done a good job of testing and making sure. We were relying on some outside thing, and then there was another totally unrelated thing that happened.
It was just a calamity of issues and outside resources that fell apart.
So we've switched back to our old website, which can actually take orders and process your orders, which is kind of the whole point of doing what we do here. And so it's going to be working fine for the time being, and then we will worry about the new version in the future.
Yep.
Apologize for any inconvenience. If you were trying to place an order, you had any issues, please go back and try it now. It will work. Everything, all these orders are coming through now. But yeah, websites can be a pain in the butt. So maybe it'd be better if we just didn't have one. I don't know.
Maybe we can just pull it all.
I mean, if it wasn't for the website, the customers, and the products, this would be super easy.
Other than that,
Yeah.
we got it nailed. Well, and dealers and everything else, we
And employees too. They're pretty challenging
employees
at
and
times,
then inventory automation, and then
Yeah.
We could just have one email for everyone, just emails for every.
just do a single email address for any
I mean, we could just do everything through Snapchat
or Facebook.
and then just send PayPal money requests. Someone on Facebook this week was like, "Is it so hard to just send a customer a PayPal money request?" I'm like, "Yeah, it actually is."
If you're doing a real business,
you don't see Amazon sending out PayPal money requests when you want to buy some toilet paper, So no, we do things the way we do it for a reason, and we can't operate the same way a guy who's taking 2 orders a day out of his mom's basement operates.
we've got inventory control across multiple warehouses and multiple destinations.
It's very complicated.
Yeah, there's all that's one of the easier sides of things, and that's still obviously is well beyond a PayPal money request.
Yes.
Friends and family request.
All right, so we have some good questions lined up from last week that we'll get through some of those first as the new questions start coming in. Does stage 1 have advanced launch control?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure this means they were asking
B8?
If you have a B8, yes, all the B8 3-liter files all come with advanced launch control from stage 1.
If it has advanced launch control, it has it on stage 1.
Yep.
Only our B8 file currently has it, but eventually all of our files, more or less, will.
Yep.
So I don't know about old B5 stuff, but
well, actually, those have launch control. The stage 3 stuff
we're
does, but yeah, we're not pushing
it's not
that
advanced
one.
launch control.
It's not the advanced stuff, no.
Yeah. Is there a revision to your DSG Catch Can for the TTRS RS3? So we had 7 or 8 reported cases of customers who had our DSG Catch Can in a DAZA application have fluid exit the catch can. We've sold about 400 or 500 of them, so there's a very, very low instance of occurrence on this. But we started digging, and so our catch can is a chamber, and then there's a baffle plate in the middle of the chamber, and so as DSG fluid exits the transmission, it comes up into the bottom, and it has to travel and go around the plate before it could leave. This is a really foolproof system. It works. We tested it in 2 of our cars extensively, no issues. But engineering did put a little hole at the front of the plate. And the purpose of that hole is any oil that goes on the top of the plate, and let's say under braking, that fluid would go forward in the can and it has a place to leak back to the lower chamber. The problem is, and apparently these 7 or 8 cars, they had excessive movement of fluid out of their transmission for whatever reason, we don't know. And there was essentially a jet of transmission fluid pointing at that drain hole. And of course, once it would hit that hole, some of the fluid would splash out and get, outside the can. That's not right. So we made a new plate without the hole in it. We tested that. We sent it to at least 1 or 2 of these customers. I know of one for sure. Mm-hmm. He put it in. He tested his car. It was fixed. He no longer has the fluid exiting the can issue. So anyone who's complained about that, we have a revised plate. All units that are shipping now should have the newer revised plate. If you want a revised plate, please email customer service. We will send you one for free. It just screws in. You have to take the can apart. You may want to take it out and just wash it anyways, and then take the screws out. It's really easy to do. I think we have a little instruction document that ships with it. So, but yeah, it was very limited. It got a lot of attention, like things do. But really limited instance of it happening. But it is solved now, and there's really no need for that drain hole. The fluid will make its way back. Gravity will take care of it. So it didn't need that.
We didn't see any, affecting performance.
No, there's no issue with it. So, and we kind of learned a little lesson about doing that, how not to do it, and stuff like that. So. Yep. Because we're learning too all the time. So, are you guys going to be selling any products to support the B8 4.0 T swap? Maybe. I think we've talked about doing a version of the motor mounts, brackets that are required to do the swap. So we may come out with a few parts like we did the VR6 swap. We will never offer a 4.0 T swap package of any kind.
That would just be obscene to put together and build out.
I mean, to be fair, it's not that bad of a swap. It's
honestly, it was not. I mean, yeah.
Kelton's probably going to punch me.
Mechanically and electrically, it's not that bad. If you've done swaps before, especially, it's really not that bad. The Audi stuff, the Volkswagen Audi group has gotten very modular since the mid 2000s.
We even were able to fit the factory catted downpipes by just kind of bending a little piece of sheet metal up. So it's pretty awesome. And things do fit pretty nicely, though it's very tight.
It's very tight. Some coolant line stuff, some radiator work to get everything in there was kind of the biggest fab area around aside from the motor mount.
As far as cutting and welding, it's minimal, especially if you had the brackets. If we release those and maybe maybe a couple other little parts.
Yeah, and even the wiring was honestly very straightforward.
As far as wiring,
an engine swap of that nature goes. We ran into a couple of little gotchas. We jumped into it in a much more difficult way because we converted this car from manual to DSG as well at the exact same time. So we had a couple more hoops to jump through.
Yeah.
But, we could certainly offer things like, some of the software for it. That's something I could see us doing.
Yeah.
Because there are some considerations you do need to do in the software to make a 4-liter ECU that came in an A6, A7 chassis work exactly as it should in a B8 chassis.
Yeah.
You need to teach it basically how to speak B8 versus speak, C7.
So stay tuned. No promises on anything, but there's a good chance we'll be doing some, at least a few things. There's a lot of talk about our B9 drag racing runs from this weekend, so we'll address those maybe at around 11:30, and just kind of spend a few minutes talking about what we did, what's done to the car, all that stuff. Is rolling anti-lag coming for B9 S4 S5?
It's something we've talked about. It'll be, that'll come along with things like the advanced launch control, which we're working on. So
Yeah.
chances are good it'll be there for I don't know how much it's going to help with the stock turbo, but potentially with the bigger stuff.
Yeah. Any tune coming for the 2.0T Gen 3B? My wife's Tiguan desperately needs more power.
Yeah, we don't have anything on the roadmap currently. We get very, very few inquiries on those. Those are an MG1.
It's like Tiguan and Jetta are kind of the
Jetta's okay right now. Those are
Step
the same, but this would be the same as like a Tiguan and a Beetle.
No, I'm just saying as far as the amount of attention they get.
Yeah. This is even lower than that, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So I don't know if we end up doing another tune that kind of rolls alongside this one. We'll obviously include it, but right now it's not on our roadmap.
Yeah. For B8 3.0T, your website pairs the 190 mil pulley for the dual pulley kits. Is this the one you recommend for Stage 2 Plus?
Yeah, I was trying to check the website on this. I don't know that we actually tell them to run a 190, and it kind of depends on your setup. Let me double check again. But I mean, it depends on what you're doing, what your goals are for the car. 190 works great for most street applications. If you're going to be doing a lot of road course stuff, and you want to try and keep temps down, we'll say you run the 179. We offer both.
The tuning page does not say anything.
Yeah, I didn't think it did. It just said multiple pulleys. Yeah, our hardware kit is paired with the 190. So, so yeah, I mean, you can go either way. We test and tune for both of them. Yeah, the 190 is going to be have a little more punch in the mid range. You end up making more heat with it though. So, yeah, if you're going to be doing a ton of track driving, road course stuff with sustained heat, you might want to drop down to the 179.
Will you guys be running a high pressure fuel pump for the hybrid 3.0T tuning? Many cars are failing with the high pressure fuel pump.
Those are kind of two different questions.
Yeah. The high pressure fuel pump failures that I've heard of are this APR unit.
Yeah.
That's had some issues.
Yeah.
And again, it's not we've talked about this a little bit. It's not a problem with B9 high pressure fuel pumps. It was an issue with something they were doing.
Yep.
But we are working on a solution. The car needs it. Manufacturing high pressure fuel pump components is not easy. It's it's up there with sending shit into space. As far as the manufacturing precision.
That's one of the parts where you can actually say, like aerospace tolerance.
It is
aerospace design. Yeah, that's a very, very tight tolerance part. You're dealing with a mechanical seal essentially that has to reciprocate, millions of times and not wear out and not leak. So that has high pressure.
Tolerances into the 1/10,000th of an inch. So you take an inch, slice it into 10,000 pieces. It's pretty much incomprehensible. And then there's an extremely proprietary, complicated coating that goes on there. So we are actually releasing our high pressure fuel pump for the older Gen 2.0Ts. Kind of like what's been on the market for a while. We'll finally have our own version. And we are working with a manufacturer right now to do a B9 version of that. But yes, the cars need them, and no, there are no good options on the market right now. So, hybrid tuning is somewhat dependent on it. Maybe offering flex fuel support for the EQT turbo you are tuning.
Yes.
There's kind of two different questions.
Those are also two different questions, but yes, we will have multi-port and flex fuel support coming for the MQBs. We're well on our way into that process right now. And yeah, the EQT is going to be one of the turbos we support that as well.
Any insight on max power figures for 3.0T and 2.9 TT before considering building the block? Does the 2.9 TT have any internal engine advantages against the 3.0? We don't know. We haven't blown one of those motors up yet, and I'm not aware of anyone that has. We have set a practical limit of 600 foot-pounds of torque, approximately, at the crank. To stay below that, and this is, until you blow one up, you really don't know exactly what it is. But most VW Audi rods are very similar, have about 100 foot-pounds of torque It's a safe limit that as long as you stay under that, you're usually fine, assuming you don't have, detonation or anything else going on.
Yeah.
So we don't know yet. I don't know. We don't know anything about what's inside the motors yet either. We haven't really taken those apart. We haven't needed to yet.
Nope.
Even B8 3.0Ts aren't cracking their motors open, and these are like
we're
8 years old.
We're very fortunate that they've been very robust power plant. So
Yeah.
it's kind of not, it's one of those, necessity and the mother of invention.
And the B9 3.0T is robust as
yeah,
well,
that's
too.
what I'm saying. Like they're not, they haven't shown a true Achilles heel yet.
Yeah.
Outside of, I've heard of a couple of manufacturing issues that came up on stock motors, but nothing
Yeah.
that
We also haven't
related.
pushed the RS5 very far yet either, so we don't know. Maybe the RS5 has weaker rods. We just don't.
Very surprised, but yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we've been surprised before.
Yep.
I remember when like the initial the 5-valve V8s came out, they had like tiny little
Those were
toy rods,
little,
in them, and it shocked everybody. They were like half the size of the previous generation V8 rod, which was basically like a 1AT rod.
Yep.
So, and then the B7 RS4 had like Pankel, and the R8 have Pankel rods in them, which is like F1 rods. So pretty cool shit right from the factory. Yeah, so I would say don't worry about that. There's people running around in the low tens in B9s, running hybrid turbos. But I would just strongly recommend keep engine crank torque below 600 or approximately 85% of that at the wheels.
And torque is really what you got to look out for too.
Torque,
and,
100%.
And as you go with bigger and hybrid turbos, generally, you're not going after a bunch more torque. You're moving that power band up, and you're actually just either sustaining the torque, the torque peak that you had before for a little longer, or just making more, torque higher in the power band than what you were able to on the stock turbo. So, the torque numbers, that's where you need to watch power levels for the rods.
Actually, there's really no such thing as horsepower. Like, horsepower can't break a rod because it's literally a math formula.
Yeah.
So it's torque and piston speed. So you could at some point break a rod if you were making like 2,000 horsepower and 100 foot-pounds of torque. But actually, what would break a rod would be the speed or the forces of the piston.
To like 12 grand.
Not the horsepower, because there's nothing inside your engine that's horsepower. You can't really measure it. It's you measure the torque, and then there's a formula where you combine torque and RPM, and you get horsepower. So horsepower is a human construct, but torque will break your motor, and so will the speed and forces inside the motor.
Yep.
Will you be offering 100 and 104 files for the B9 3.0T?
Maybe. Right now, there's no real reason with the 85 being as, good as it is for what we've got. If it's
just for overseas,
it would be overseas, and then if the whole fuel pump piston development time, we may have higher octane stuff for that before those are available. So I know we haven't talked about it to have a solid ETA.
Yeah,
there will likely be more octanes coming.
Now that CarWow allows modified cars in their quarter-mile races, would 034 send them a vehicle for testing?
CarWow.
No, this is CarWow's a division of ShamWow. I don't know if you've ever heard of it. No, I don't know what CarWow is. Does anyone?
It's a British YouTube channel that basically drag racing random cars. And reviews like.
But they didn't used to allow modified cars. Like they only did like factory testing.
Now, for the most part, they're known for comparing stock to stock cars.
Yeah, which makes sense. But maybe they could create a tuner, series where they compare the tuning. In the B9 3.0T alone, you could compare 4 different tuners head to head right now. We'll have to look into that. That's interesting. The fact that they're in the UK probably doesn't bode well. And we could always try to do something with racing. Let's see.
Got a bunch of questions all over the place here.
Yeah, well, the transmission brace fixed the delay in DSG. I sometimes slow down, step on the gas, go nowhere for a few seconds, and the torque hits. No, that is not a
No, that's not going to
transmission brace problem.
No, and I'm not sure. I think what you're describing is like you're in like a drive mode or like a auto shifting mode. I mean, there's only so much the DSG can account for. If you're, slowing down dramatically and then all of a sudden you want to smash the gas and it has to like downshift 3 gears to then, get into the gear it thinks you want because of the rapid transition.
Yeah, I will say every DSG, if you're in like auto mode and you floor it and you go tippy toe, and it has to find the next gear down
Or several.
Well,
or-
two
It could be 2, 3,
not
or
the next
4,
gear
yeah,
down.
It's
The-
wherever it's trying to hit the maximum revs it can hit in the lowest gear.
the next gear down from the clutch pack that it's engaged with. So typically, if it's dropping like from fifth to second, then there can be a substantial delay. So you can be in manual mode and you can probably drop 2 gears faster
Yep.
than in auto mode. So that's more of a function of auto mode, and we can only speed it up so much because
Yeah, I mean, you've got to engage and disengage multiple clutches.
Yeah.
You've got to, get the shift forks, basically in the right position then, which it does a really good job in normal transitions and trying to estimate, are you going to downshift next? Are you going to upshift next? Because it has to preload the next clutch one way or the other.
usually it's better to be in manual mode and just drop one gear.
Yeah, if you've got, consistent situations like that where you're really dynamically changing what gear, speed, or load you're in, then manual mode's the way to go. So you know ahead of time what you're planning for the corner ahead. The gearbox has no idea what's coming up.
Yeah, and then you can just be in one lower gear anyways, but you're also kind of spoiled. I mean, you're probably having to wait like a little less than 1 second, and it would take quite a while to drop. Even a manual transmission by the time you clutch in and stuff, it would take about that long. So yeah, DSGs are really nice, and if they don't react instantaneously, then we think they're slow.
Yeah, you notice that it's not a couple of milliseconds when it's not a couple of milliseconds. Like
Right.
It's still fast, but there's a lot of stuff going on under the hood there.
What's the difference between your rear sway bar and Whitelines? I don't know. So the sway bars aren't that complicated. You can compare the diameters, whether they're hollow or not.
Well, yeah, the material construction is the big one. It's not just diameter; it's the wall thickness and
Yeah, that's what I was in the middle of saying. Is check to see if it's solid or the wall thick. But we actually publish our spring percentage increases over factory. I don't know if Whiteline does. Not many companies do, but I'll say that ours are designed for this type of like optimal. Doesn't push, doesn't oversteer, really neutral cornering with a good reduction in body roll, but not body roll reduction is not the main concern. It's optimizing that handling dynamic. When you go into a corner and you turn the wheel and you back off the throttle a little bit, what does the car do? I'm not sure what their criteria is and what they designed for. So there's plenty of sway bars out there that are just designed to give you like the flattest cornering possible, which typically involves having a front sway bar as well. But yeah, see what the specs are. Sorry, I honestly don't know a lot about. I couldn't do a direct comparison of our products versus our competitor products and most of our suspension products, other than what I know about the specs and stuff like that. You had a rotor on the table last week, but didn't mention anything about it. Can you talk about your brake rotors? Looking to swap rotors after the season for the B9 S4. Yeah, sorry about that. It was here, and then
Between
Facebook.
the technical things and on the myriad of questions we were dealing with.
The Facebook shit show happened. That was a B9 S4.
Yeah, that
S5
was actually
rotor.
a B9 S4 rotor we had. Yep.
And that's two-piece brake rotor. Basically, we have a line of drop-in rotors for just about all Volkswagen and Audi models now. Popular models. So we will be releasing B8 and B9 S4 brake rotors soon. I believe in the next week or so. And they're factory sized, factory diameter, factory thickness. They are lighter. So there's substantial weight savings from the hat being aluminum and not cast iron. And then our rotors feature optimized cooling. So I mean that's really the biggest benefit you're going to get, other than the weight reduction, is getting that unsprung weight out. But having the rotor with our rotors have directional vane cooling versus the factory stuff, which either isn't directional. In many cases, it's the wrong direction, so it's flipped backwards on one side, and so you're going to get better airflow through the brake rotor, so the heat the rotor does see will be evacuated more efficiently and quickly. They also look cool. They have our J slot design on them, and they're all CAD plated. Or zinc or whatever the plating is that we use.
Somebody just asked, will we do slotted or just the hook?
Just the J hook is all we're doing, because you just start getting into like too much stuff on the shelf. So stay tuned for those. Very competitively priced. So other options on the market, and these are legit like motorsport grade rotors. We've track tested them, we've tortured them, we've never warped one or had any problems with one. There is a lot of cheap rotors out there, or cheaply made, or rotors with bad metallurgy. Stay away from those like the plague. They will warp the first time you get them hot, and then
they're never coming back.
I mean, they're done, and then you can try to surface them, and it's just a nightmare. And then as a bonus, we also offer and sell replaceable rotor rings. So you get a new rotor ring with new hardware, and you just reuse your hat, and there's about a $300 savings there.
Yep.
So yeah, it's a great option. You get into that, and you're set on brake rotors. And our rotors work really well with all race pad and aftermarket pad options as well. Someone's asking about 4.0T engine mount ETA. Good news, we have finalized testing, so we're moving forward to production. No exact date, but hoping in the Q1 of next year we'll be able to finally get those in stock and ship them. But they're performing really well. Torch tested. You plug in the factory harness.
Yep.
No check engine lights, all that stuff. So, 2021 B9 EA839 tuning ETA. This is the server.
That's the CMOS 18.4. I'm sorry, 2021 B98. Yeah, no, B9.5 through there. Yes,
yeah.
That is. We're waiting on getting server updated for that. Yeah. We're working on it.
We're working on it. We don't have a direct ETA. That the tuning's pretty much done. It's just being able to flash is the issue. So, S4 B8.5 TCU tune. Should I notice a difference in shifting speeds in manual mode? Delay is there. Does the shift timing change depending on the RPM?
Not entirely sure what they're asking, which delay they're referring to, but I mean, yes, the shift time will be faster. The shift rate will be faster. The rate of basically clutch pack pressure application is faster. So yeah, you should get a much crisper shift than you do factory and manual mode as well.
Someone's asking about our CREC 3.0T support.
Yep.
They're losing faith or
that one was I can't tell if
patience.
they're so it's like
I guess it sounds like they aren't.
Whoever they're with now isn't making any progress.
He's trying to work with a custom tuner in there. Yeah. Anyways, there's some hyperbole in there we don't have to address. CREC. You have
same thing. We've got a bunch of flashing texts we're working on at any given time. I don't have an ETA on that one. We have again obviously calibrations and lots of stuff we can do for them, but it's unfortunately still a fairly low volume vehicle.
And then we're selling dozens of B9 S4 tunes a day, and then it's like, do we want to drop that to do CREC? We have limited resources as well, so we have to prioritize. And this is kind of emblematic of your experience that there's really no tuning options on the market, and you're working with someone who either doesn't know how or isn't prioritizing your project over the other ones they're working on, and this is just emblematic of the fact that CREC's just there's not that much priority in the marketplace.
It's really tough because it's such a good motor.
Yeah.
And it's got so much
Except for
potential.
the clutch.
The supercharger clutch is
clutch.
definitely kind of the weak spot on it. But I mean the other tech, the injectors, the
Everything else, the
intercoolers are better.
and-
It's just it's a good motor.
Yeah.
It just wasn't put in enough performance cars. It was in a lot of the bigger non-tuned category cars, the A6s and A7s and A8s.
Yeah, so I mean, hang in there. We'll do our best, but we're not making you any promises. Hey, why don't you list products for SEAT León Cupra? I installed end links front and rear from 0 through 4. You know what? I don't know why. Sean, can you write that down? Like our marketing department just simply needs to confirm. We can work with our friends at Racingline.
Right. It's a lot of product validation is all that needs to happen.
Well, we already know. They already know.
Right.
You know.
Now that
Yeah. So we need to put a project together, put a date on it, and work towards getting it done. That'd be a great job for the team. You three guys can bust that out. Can you have it done by tomorrow? Cool, thanks.
By lunch.
Yeah. Oh wow. Nice to flex
throw
on
on some shade there.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So it's 11:31. So let's talk about B9 drag racing. So very exciting.
Yep.
Our calibration team and our marketing team put a project together a couple weeks ago to make our B9 S4 run as fast as it can in the quarter mile. Goal was to hit the 10s. And so we did some prep to our car. Full disclosure, this is what we did. This is an exhibition effort. This is to show what's possible. Anyone who's watching this can do the same stuff to their car. No trick motorsport.
No, this is all
or-
very, very simple. What you would consider normal for anyone going out to run a quick time.
Yeah, so we did two main things. We did weight reduction on the car, and we put wheels and tires on the car. So weight reduction, we took 220 pounds out of the car, which it's like
Pretty moderate.
it's like your buddy who eats a little too much Taco Bell, was in the car with you. It's not a huge amount, but so we did a lightweight battery from anti-gravity batteries. I think that's probably like 50 pounds.
Yeah,
lighter.
we didn't itemize each weight. We just had
Doing a lot of skill.
Yeah.
It was we weighed it before, weighed it after. We were done with
Yeah,
basic stuff.
No, but I'm just saying the
Yep.
battery is a big part of this. If you want to drop 50 pounds from your car right
For
now,
sure. The stock batteries are huge.
spend $900 on this battery, and it will do it. A CREC driver's seat, which is basically made from aluminum foil and a thin piece of cloth. So there's probably another 50, 60, 75 pounds there. We did a lightweight driver mod, which is Nick. Not as light as he used to be, but still pretty light. Passenger seat removed. So
This is what happens when he's not in the room here.
Yeah, I know. He should be
chooses
here.
not to show up, and he's going to get.
Passenger seats, I mean, those things are heavy. That's probably another 60 pounds.
I don't know what those weigh in at. Those
No, they're heavy,
They
though.
kind of go, but yeah, with the seat
When you-
massagers and everything.
When you pick one up, they're heavy. But again, it comes out with a couple bolts.
yeah, I
it
think
takes
it's like,
a few.
it's like
it's-
one or two screws.
Yeah,
to get
it's not a lot of work. The rear seats are removed. This is very controversial. The rear seat removal mod.
Those come out with no tools.
People have fist fights over this thing.
pop up their seat.
Yeah, but those are probably like 10 or 15 pounds,
Yeah,
and it's
it's
not
not
too heavy. Honestly, we could have left those in. All the door cards are in the car. So I saw someone on Instagram said that the car was fully gutted. That's false.
Yeah, when you do that, like those are guys that are like carpets out, all the sound dampening's out. The door cards are out.
I mean,
the
what I
speakers
just
are out.
listed, the battery was swapped, a different driver's seat, which is a lot lighter. But really, the only things that were removed from the car are the passenger seat and the rear seats.
Yeah.
The gas tank had very little fuel in it.
That's
So that's
totally
it's a
normal
big
for
source of weight,
yeah.
And you do that at least
You can
once
do that
a
every
week.
day. Yeah.
The catback was removed, so that's a source of restriction and weight, but again, very easy to do. And then we fabricated some exhaust turn down so the car wouldn't burn down. Yeah, and people do remove more stuff from the car. When we've done runs with our TTRS, we've removed our cards and stuff, but we did not this time. And when I hear fully gutted, I mean that's what like a race car is,
Yeah.
This is no means everything's reversible. And then we put 17-inch wheels and tires on the car. Hoosier DR2 drag radial tires.
Mm-hmm.
These are not wrinkle slicks or anything. They're just really sticky radial tires. Like if you tried to take these on a road course, the tread would melt off after a while.
Yeah.
So they're just very sticky, but they're not wrinkle slicks. And then what 17-inch wheel do we use?
RPF ones.
RPF ones, which requires some modification of the factory.
Yeah, those
brake
ones.
calipers.
We didn't.
Yeah. And we don't sell these wheels and tires. You
And it was some. I think it was. I'd have to check with Nick, but I think it was some really light clearancing to get them to. It was like a little.
But it fits.
Yeah, it's like a boss or a
Yeah.
bump on the caliper.
I think it's about $3 or $4 grand in wheels and tires. Looks like Nick's
That's
just getting
what he's watching
fired up.
to figure out how to block him.
Yeah, so it's this is $4,000 or $5,000 of modifications plus some of your time
Yeah,
to do
I
this.
feel like we should contextualize or normalize that though. That's all of this. I would consider bare minimum normal for anybody going out to sit at quick time drag racing.
Yeah, if you're like
Um,
if you have a hobby of like making your car go fast in the quarter mile, this is the kind of thing you would do to prepare your
yeah,
car.
none of this is abnormal.
And you could go like put a bunch of Mustangs and Camaros in their place and Hemis and stuff with this setup. And you just spend Friday afternoon doing some of these mods, and then you go drag race Saturday morning, and you could be in the tens with a flash to your ECU.
Yep.
And again, this is a stock 0 through 4 calibration. This is not a custom calibration.
I mean, it's the only thing that was any different is we are working on new TCU software, which honestly all that really does at this point is just some shift points, which you could do, essentially manually.
To Nate's point, there could be some stuff that's not in this file that's not in our current production file.
ECU
However,
is-
it will be.
Yeah, ECU is stage 2 or R2, what's on the servers now.
Yeah.
No changes there.
And no nitrous or no hidden power adders or anything like that. So as a result, we ran, and then so we tried to go to the drag strip, and there was some issue with the drag strip being closed, which seems to happen because this time of year they switch different dates and whatever, and so there was some confusion. Regardless, we went out to found the flattest piece of road in Central America that we could, and using Draggy, which is proven to be a reliable and accurate measuring device.
It's what most of the comparisons you're going to see out there are done on.
Yeah.
We're going to back it up with obviously a measured quarter.
We will, but if you think Draggy's an issue, it's not. But then we're also driving on a non-prepped street surface.
This is zero prep.
Yeah.
And,
So we ran a 10.6 at 124.76 miles an hour with a 1,325 foot DA. And then 24 hours later, the DA improved to minus 308 feet, and we were able to run a 10.84 at 126 miles an hour. So we beat our own record a day later, and this is substantially faster than anyone else's run on a stock turbo.
Yep.
And
a much higher DA than what has been run on a stock turbo.
Yeah. So we're thrilled. We're pleased. Again, this is you can duplicate these results. Nothing crazy or special.
Nope.
And full disclosure, that's everything that we did. So we might we're putting the car back together, so we might just go do some full weight runs.
And we had done some
Just as a
previously too with a
comparison.
way worse DA.
Yeah, so we were in the
11.2
11.2s full weight with a way worse DA. So, not far off from this. And, I think we feel pretty confident.
Yeah,
we could
sure.
definitely hit like a low 11.1 or something like that, full weight.
Yep.
Which, is still shatters anything else anyone else has run. So, and then we did actually post some full weight. What was it? What was the full weight that we posted? 11.2?
11.24, I think.
Yeah, so we posted our 11.24 already, which is substantially faster than the previous record.
My time's correct. I think we could do it full weight, just with the gear too.
An 11.0. It's the wheel tire swap. Okay. So
Yeah, with just the wheel and tires, 11.0. So most of the gain is coming from the tires, not the weight reduction. All right. So, anyways, any questions about that? Feel free to follow up. Someone's asking, what is DA? The previous B9 3.0T stock turbo record was minus 2,600. What does this mean? So that's that's DA is the density of the air. And
Density,
so
altitude. Or
yeah,
yeah.
it's called density altitude, but basically it's like how much oxygen is in the air, and it's a function of barometric pressure and temperature. The lower the temperature, the denser the air. The more air you can cram into your motor, the bigger the booms. And so yes, a minus 2,600 DA is really good.
Yeah,
you're going to run really
that's
fast
super
times.
healthy, yep.
We were well above. We were 1,300, and then when it dropped to minus 300, we ran slightly faster, just a few hundredths of a second faster. So that just shows that if all things being equal, if we had a minus 2,600 foot DA, we would have probably dropped like another tenth off that time. Again, because there's more fuel in the air. You can't forget your car doesn't burn only fuel; it burns the air.
Yeah,
too,
and generally when you see really low DAs like that, it comes along with, like you said, the temperature of the air. So you get the added effect of the more dramatic temperature differential across the air to air intercoolers.
I mean, it's all about density.
Yeah.
If there's more air, there's more fuel. I mean, we humans experience it.
Yeah.
Go to Colorado and in Denver, you feel it instantly getting off the airplane. There's just less oxygen in the air, and you go up to 14,000 feet and about to pass out. And
try and do some exerted effort or exercise like you would at sea level.
Yeah, now and then your car also feels it at elevation. So that's all.
Yeah, right. It's not a human phenomenon.
Yeah. All right.
So yeah, more coming. That
Yep.
that was honestly like a first effort at getting some quarter mile stuff done on that, and we're getting.
I mean, and this is in some cases a half a sec faster than what our competitors have posted. Definitely 0.3 of a second or more faster than one of our other competitors.
Huge.
But you guys aren't going to go drag race your car every day. I think what I hope and what we hope at 034 is that shows our dedication and commitment to the platform, that we're not afraid to prove our products and to show, to prove our mettle, to go out there and display for you guys. Like, we're serious about this. We're serious about offering the best product. This kind of stuff takes a ton of time. I mean, it's like if you went and did it, you'd spend a week, prepping your car before you even went, and it's just as much work for us. But we're proud to do this. We love getting these results, and we're not done with B8. Just getting started for B9, but within a very short span of time, we've completely turned B9 3.0T tuning on its head within the span of 3 months. We've completely disrupted this sector of the tuning market. So yeah, and we're going to continue, and that's what we do. So we're here to build and support these products, and we're serious about it. Someone's asking about SQ5 TCU beta.
Oh, the B8 stuff. Yep. All the ZF8 stuff we are actively working on. Same as last week when it's ready. It'll be up. I don't.
Yeah, I think we should have set a date on that.
On the ZF8 across the board, I don't know if we've got a solid date on those.
I think we just need to.
Yeah, we're working on it actively. Like every.
There's no flashing on it or anything.
Nope. Nope.
B9 hybrid turbo files, rough quarter when they'll be released. I'd love to say at least Q1 or possibly Q1, at least Q2 of next year. And that's basically our next big tuning project for B9.
Yep.
It's moving to that. We have the turbos here and all that. How can I get faster ETs after full stage 2 B9 S5 on E85? What's next?
I think we just went over that.
Yeah, I mean, certainly all the modifications that we listed will net you a faster ET. But yeah, ET is driven largely by horsepower. So the more horsepower you can make, the faster the car will accelerate, to the end of the quarter mile. And then the, that's trap speed is horsepower, and then your ET, your lapse time, is really influenced by the launch. It's really critical. I mean, you can shave a full second off the same horsepower car just by launching optimally.
Yeah.
Drivetrain inserts help quite a bit. Moving 60-foot.
Yeah. Our drivetrain inserts, a lot of our suspension products that reduce that kind of lash and squish, because when you're launching, you want that power to hit the tires, not to load up your drivetrain. So, but yeah, ultimately, if you want to go a lot faster and your trap speed, you're going to need more horsepower. So certainly make sure you have intercooler intake, things like that, and then look towards hybrid turbo options in the future. But at this point, you may want to focus on improving your launch.
Well, yeah, we don't know what kind of times they're cutting right now, but
this, because I mean, as fun as it is to accelerate to the end, if you've never experienced like a 1.3 second or 1.4 second 60-foot, it's fucking awesome. It literally throws you back in the seat. You can feel the acceleration. And when you hit, you know it. You don't even need to get to the timing booth to know you just ran a fast 60-foot, because you can just feel it. So it's also a really fun sensation, is in addition to acceleration, which is obviously a blast. Our advanced launch control features coming to B9 S4. Yes, we have a host of all the B8 features are coming.
Yeah,
and more.
Yep. What's
the PSI difference between stage 1 and stage 2 for B9?
Not a lot. I don't know off the top of my head, but they're very similar. It's not necessarily about how much boost is in the intake manifold; it's how much air is moving through the motor. So the more restrictive the exhaust is going to equate to a higher boost level at the same airflow. So generally, when you uncork an exhaust or you put a bigger turbo on or something like that, you're going to make a lot more power at the same boost or less boost than you did prior to the hardware changes. So boost level is a really tough thing to kind of quantify power with when you're making
it's certainly correlated. There's some correlation. It's not a 1.0 correlation, but it's like 60% correlation.
Yeah, to answer the question, I don't know off the top of my head. I'd have to look back at data logs. We don't generally shoot for a one number. We find out what works best at a given hardware combination. Some cases it's higher, some cases it's lower. It's a lot of testing and a lot of A/B comparison on those.
What do you guys think of Amsoil? Would you use it in the DSG and engine? Generally, I would say Amsoil products are very high quality.
I can't speak of anything negative.
Yeah,
So,
I don't.
Specifically.
I believe we typically use factory DSG fluids here. I can't make recommendations on whether the Amsoil is a
we
good
primarily
option.
either do actual VAG labeled stuff or O-tool typically here.
I mean, I would say if you could find an Amsoil DSG fluid that matched the specifications of the factory, by all means, I would think it's perfectly fine.
And a lot of these, it's gotten pretty easy these days. You can look. There's almost always a VAG equivalent number on a lot, of the new products.
As long as you match that up.
It'll be like a VAG 509 something.
I just, I would, and this is not specific to Amsoil, but I would just say be wary of gimmicky.
If there was some
friction reducing
cure-all magic DSG fluid, the factory would be using it.
It would already be in there. So there's a lot of as seen on TV bullshit. I remember when I was a kid, what was the black magic?
There were so many.
Slick 50.
Slick 50
came out, and everyone was like, it's magical, and it gives you like 20 more horsepower.
They like the Dodge Viper tractor motor out there with the cam covers off and they're pouring sand in it. It's like, that's just Slick 50 is like probably like, I don't even know. Someone's probably done an expose on it by now, and then there was a split fire spark plugs and all these additives that the way they work is they don't do anything, but they're a small enough amount that if you pour it in there, it won't hurt. Right. So, right. It doesn't have hopefully it doesn't have a huge.
They charge you $25. You pour it in. It doesn't ruin your engine, and they go cash check. So, but no, Amsoil is fine. But generally factory fluids are recommended. Just be wary of aftermarket claims for things that aren't true. Do we plan on making a catback exhaust that sounds good for B9 S4 S5? Currently, no plans to make full exhaust systems. We do our ResX products, which we really like here. They're typically substantially cheaper than full exhaust systems, to buy, and they do augment the exhaust note nicely. And
factory exhausts have gotten so much better than they were,
Dude.
80s, 90s.
have you
early
seen
2000s.
the RS5 factory exhaust? It's like 3.5 inches.
Yeah, no, they're
it's like a massive pipe. I mean, factory exhausts are really good. So
yeah. So from a like a performance and a power standpoint, we've been very fortunate with a lot of the recent offerings.
Yeah. How reliable are the tunes?
I saw this keep getting asked here. It's like, well,
our tunes are extremely reliable.
we do everything we can to make them reliable because.
But this is kind of like two questions, right? So like tunes themselves, like your ECU never like corrupts or erases itself, or the tune doesn't get like worse,
talking
right?
from a digital.
Yeah, so like digitally we flash the ECU, and for the next 20,000 years that
I don't know if the
programming
retention's that good, but
I don't until salt water gets on it and destroys the whole thing. But yeah, as far as how does the engine and drivetrain respond to these tunes, and again, safety and reliability is a top priority for us.
Yeah.
And it's one of the factors that we optimize in addition to performance and improving the driving experience. And Sean, you may want to post some of our past live chats about this, but very reliable. We have an excellent track record. There is some reliability issues in some of the motors that are inherent. For example, the B8, B8.5 Generation 3.0 Ts are getting older.
Yeah.
Many of these engines that are getting tuned have over 100,000 miles, and there's some very well documented issues like catalytic converters failing, which can destroy the motor, intercoolers leaking and failing, which will destroy the motor if not caught soon enough.
Yep. Injectors.
Those we had one of
our.
our motors here damaged by basically a clogged injector. So that's not related to the tuning. That's related to the reliability of the engine, and of course, when you start pushing things harder, when you add 100, 200 horsepower to an aging, ailing factory motor, then it could accelerate the issues. But again, that's not a problem with the tuning. And we offer a logging service. If you'd like to log your ECU before you buy our tune, we will work with you to do that, and we will evaluate the relative health of your setup, and if we see any
that depends
issues,
on the platform, but you in a lot of cases we can help with that.
For B8, we definitely
B8 we certainly can. Yeah.
But our stuff's reliable. I won't say that. So there are tunes out there that are very unreliable. In fact, there's been cases where a particular tune destroyed at least half of all the motors that it was flashed to. So the potential for damage is there. It's really important who you work with. There's factory cars that are incredibly unreliable. And that's why you don't buy from one company, you buy from another, because they have reliability issues. With the current global shipping logistics messed up due to the ports, ports are part of it. Do you foresee issues during your Black Friday sale? We are in a pretty good stock position right now. So over 70% of our top selling 200 products are in stock currently. We have a ton of inventory on the way. It's just taking a lot longer from various suppliers in the U.S. and to internationally. It's a nightmare. We really got ahead of it.
We thought we were
way ahead. Well, we are way ahead of it.
We are way ahead of it.
Some of our competitors I know are like completely out of stock of everything. They have like nothing to sell. But late last summer of 2020, so over a year ago, we put about $2.5 million of purchasing money into buying and purchasing. It's essentially double or triple our inventory, and so that product has been coming in all year, but instead of taking 3 months, some of the stuff's taking 9 months or 12 months. So being ahead means that we're in some cases a year ahead, but it still took an extra year. But thank God we're not now trying to get in a position where we would be a year out from now. So the biggest effect is, you would buy something and then you'll just have to wait until it comes back in stock and ships. We will back order it for you and we'll ship it, but the savings will still be there. So yeah, I mean, we have an amazing track record of shipping every order that's ever been placed since 2004. So your order will ship. You just might have to wait a little longer, but there will be the benefit of saving money on the purchase price. So
Sorry for the facial expressions there. I don't know if you probably
Yeah,
can't
they
hear
probably
it
can't hear.
but it sounds like someone's about to through the wall sideways.
somebody just tried to come through the wall.
Yeah.
Anything coming for MQB Tiguan? I don't know.
It's funny we just
Well, we
answered
do.
this earlier, but yeah, we
do.
do some stuff. Yeah.
We have a lift kit coming, which lifts the car about 2 inches. But if you'd like to go on our website, you can put in Tiguan, and everything that fits will pop up for you. 4 minutes. For E888 engines, any thoughts of an oil cooler setup? Racingline product is expensive and requires specific filter. Any chance 03 comes out with their own version? Something that we've discussed, we would consider. It's not currently in our immediate pipeline. It's like in our concept pool.
Yeah.
So keep the B5 alive. Any new products coming for B5 S4? Well, B5 is alive and well at 034 Motorsport. It's 9% of our sales are B5 products, including S4 and A4. I don't know how many new products we'll release for that. Because one, we kind of already have everything, and two, the market is diminishing substantially.
Yeah, that'd be a good to like. What are you looking for? Like,
Yeah.
which product are you looking for?
If there is today's point, if you have an idea or a request, shoot us an email and let us know what you're looking for. But yeah, I mean, we don't have that's basically at the tail end of applications we support, and then we still do a lot of 5-cylinder stuff, but it's even less than substantially less than B5. So
You got both on your shirt right now, so
yeah. Oh, yeah, this is our 10-year anniversary shirt, by the way, if you'd like to have one of your own. It's on our website. This is 80TQ, my first car that I started 034 Motorsport with. Our Time Attack A4 and our Coupe Quattro. This is the first car we time attacked. And GTI RS. So, and then our TTRS, which we won the 25 Hours of Thunder Hill with. So B8.5 time chain rattle at startup. What would you consider okay as far as the amount of time you hear at 1 to 3 seconds, or what?
yeah, I don't know. That's a tough one to give a concrete answer to. Is it every time you start it, hot, cold, or otherwise? Is it only overnight? I don't have a good solid number, but
Yeah.
less than a second, hopefully, or so.
Would I be fine using a 187 mil crank pulley with your ECU tune? Which stage would I tune with if I have a stock supercharger for 3.2?
You're gonna at least be in stage 2. That's gonna be borderline pushing you into the 2+ numbers. So depending on what altitude you're typically at,
That's with a stock supercharger.
with a stock supercharger pulley, yeah, you're gonna be on the high end of a stage 2.
Upcoming B9 SQ5 products. Apparently, we weren't able to block Nick. So we do have front and rear sway bars coming, which completely transform the car, greatly reduce the body roll, and really improve the handling. We have rear subframe inserts coming, which are also quite noticeable, especially when you launch. We have an X34 intake coming, which is a beautiful full carbon fiber box with a really gorgeous fresh air duct that goes into the factory fresh air location. We are working on a high flow racing catalytic converter, and we have billet adjustable lowering links coming very soon as well, which lower your car, I don't know, it's about 1 inch or so. All right, well, I think that's it for this week.
Yeah.
We're right there. Yeah. No. So, okay, well, thanks for joining us. I think this week went better.
I
Technically
really
speaking.
hope so. Yeah.
So, all right. Thanks again, everyone. See you next week.
Take care.